detect and mitigate cardiovascular events. We have formed together an amazing team of eminent cardiologists and ophthalmologists representing Center of Sight, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and we have people with computer vision experience from IIT, as well as we founders have a prior experience with startups, particularly in the health tech area. We are addressing one of the growing unmet medical needs in the world today. That is cardiovascular events and some of its underpinnings. Over the last couple of decades, there has been some major medical innovations in the field of cardiovascular diseases. They have advanced the science and therapeutics in this area. However, this is still a growing and an enormous challenge, and it costs more than $22 billion globally and related to cardiovascular diseases and the deaths and other productivity issues that are associated with that. What is more alarming is in emerging economies like India, it is rising in the last couple of decades, and it is starting to affect people even at their young and productive age in their 20s or even in their teenage time. It's very unfortunate. And the main reason for that is because we are unable to detect some of the early warning signals of this cardiovascular event. If we could detect it early, we would be in a better position to curb some of these problems. In fact, World Health Organization reports that there are more than 1 billion people having hypertension currently, which is a #1 cause of cardiovascular diseases. It exacerbates this problem even more when we have about 58% of this patient pool aren't even aware that they have hypertension. Precisely because it takes some invasive, time-consuming, and expensive medical diagnosis procedure to catch some of the hypertensive events very early. By the time we know, it often tends to become very late and often tends to progress in some kind of degenerative cardiovascular issues already. So how to address this large unmet medical need? There are some good news. Over the last couple of years, a large body of scientific literature has been emerging across the world in some of the eminent journals like Nature, which suggests that just an image from our retina, a high resolution image from our retina called OCTA, which I'll explain shortly, can detect some of the issues with the blood capillaries and blood flow inside it, which can directly correlate with the systemic hypertension and cardiovascular underlying and underpinnings. That is exactly where SicureMi brings an innovative and unique value proposition. We collect this labeled retina or CTA image using our proprietary artificial intelligence of deep neural network. We then calibrate these data points and find actionable insights in the form of predictive cardiovascular risk scores, which can then be used by cardiologists and medical professionals to better mitigate and track, predict, diagnosis, and even find prognostic measures for the cardiovascular event in a precision medicine angle for their patients. Let's see what these images look like. So on the left side, you look at a fundus image that has been traditionally done in regular eye checkup. But in the coming years, with the advancement of medical imaging, as you see the OCTA image, which kind of look like an angiography, again, a very non-invasive tool, are often taken in your regular eye checkup. Through some advanced imaging analysis that we have done here, we can actually zoom in into the finer details of these capillaries and blood vasculature and find some quantitative measures about the health status of these capillaries in terms of how this new blood vasculature is forming, how the capillary dropout is occurring, and even how the blood flow is happening within these capillaries. And they are the holy grails of some of these underlying causes that is already happening and some of the early warning signals of hypertension and future cardiovascular event. Because this is such an emerging area, it is obvious that there are some pioneering companies in this amazing world that are working in this area. But traditionally, they have all been taking fundus imaging, which tends to be very, very low, which tends to provide extreme low accuracy and doesn't provide that level of resolution as OCT imaging. We are in a competitive, we bring a competitive advantage here by taking this OCT image and combining with an artificial intelligence tool so we can train this algorithm to find a far superior predictive scores and catch these underlying issues of hypertension and cardiovascular diseases very early. As you can imagine, this can benefit 4 key stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem. Number 1, companies that are working in medical imaging and microscopy for various ophthalmological tools and devices like Zeiss and Canon. On the other hand, health insurance companies will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this because they are the one who are taking the healthcare burden of managing a patient's cardiovascular disease for several decades. Cardiology hospitals, it can be a boon for cardiologists to be able to understand their diseases, their patients' cardiovascular health status very early on, so they can mitigate or even prevent some of these events very early if they can catch it. But the most important value and potential acquisition of a company like ours can happen to medical intelligence companies like Verily of Google and IBM, who are precisely working in data science as well as artificial intelligence tools to better diagnose, prognose, and predict varieties of health diseases, health conditions. We have developed an amazing collaborative network with Center for Sight, where we have access to more than 100,000 images and patient data. We're collaborating in our computer vision and machine learning components with IIT Delhi, and our clinical validation is being carried out by AIMS and PGIMR. We are happy to say that in the last few months, we have just completed our first pilot study consisting 53 patients' data. As you can see here, with our image analysis and our artificial intelligence tools, we are populating these data sets, and we can find the finer details of capillaries or even blood flow, capillary dropouts, and neovascularization. And we are training our algorithm and following these patients in terms of how their hypertension and cardiovascular health status is progressing. We aim to convert this pilot study into a large-scale paid beta stage project in the near future. And we know that we are really into something here. We are humbled by the quality of the industry partnerships that we are developing and the traction that we are already generating. Recently, we have been awarded by a nationally competitive grant from Pfizer. Big pharma like Sanofi and Novartis are interested in us. And Novartis has more than 800 ophthalmologist network in India itself, which provides a huge amount of partnership structure for us as we expand our project. We've gotten a strategic investment from an insurance company called Copic, which is based in the US. We also have collaboration with Apollo Hospitals in India. And in the last month, we fostered a partnership with Microsoft's technology wing, which gives us access to more than 10,000 sales professionals in the B2B SaaS model and allows us introduction to some of their B2B clients, which tend to be a lot of healthcare and pharmaceutical companies. We've been successful in raising grants and investments amounting to $275,000 over the last 2 years. Currently, we are raising a seed round of $500,000, and we would love to have you partner with us in this endeavor to manage one of the most important and alarmingly rising healthcare condition, that is cardiovascular diseases. Thank you very much.